Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're discussing dirty keto diet. Now, keto diet is the same across the board, whether it's clean or dirty, whereas it comes to macros. And your macros should be like this. So we're looking at around 70 to 80% fat, 20 to 25% protein, and 5 to 10% carbs. So I'm doing dirty keto, and it's what I recommend to people who are just starting out on the keto journey. If you can and already do eat a lot of clean foods, you can jump straight into clean keto. But if you're like me, I don't like avocados, I don't have all that much fish, I don't like nuts, which is a big issue. So a lot of the clean fats that I'd usually get, I won't get through a keto diet, so I'm doing a dirty keto diet. Now, the foods you can have on dirty keto compared to a clean keto diet are like this. And as you can see, they include fast food and processed foods and all sorts like that. If you want to have a closer look at that list, then just pause the video and you can take that off there. So with dirty keto, I find it's a lot easier to start the keto journey and get into a state of ketosis because you're not as restricted on what you're buying. There's a lot of stuff out there. You can stick to more of a budget as far as I'm concerned, and it's a lot lower budget when it comes to getting your keto shopping in, and you don't have to stock up on a load of avocados, especially if you're like me and you don't like avocados. I mean, being keto and not liking avocados, I can't tell you the dilemma this gives me a lot of the time. I would love to be clean keto, but I just cannot work the macros out. I'd be popping 6 or 7 fat bombs a day just to try and maintain them levels. Now, I know it sounds scary when you see 70% plus fat on any sort of macros, and you'll have personal trainers jumping out of windows when they see that, but the reason for that is once your body's in a state of ketosis, it's that fat that it's using for energy. Okay, and no matter how much of that fat you're putting inside your body, you're burning it off at a higher rate, and that's what produces that high weight loss that we see on keto diets. Now, muscles and muscle loss. So I've always worried about strength because the first time I tried keto and went on a keto diet, my lifting at the gym dropped. So I'm literally dropped by about 20% of the weight I could actually lift. So I noticed a significant strength loss. However, this doesn't have to be the case. After trial and error through many years, as you can see through the channel, I now am still on a sort of dirty keto diet. So I still use some of the dirty sauces for the fat, but I eat clean on other things. I have a higher protein intake than a lot of people do with the keto macros. That's because protein is a healer and builder of muscles. And I also have creatine in and keep my supplements right up to check that are all fitted within the diet restrictions, but still allow me to build muscle, maintain strength, and even over the last few weeks, gain strength with a bit of tweaking to the regular keto macros. So like these are my macros, that's what I'm doing. So it's a bit less on the fats, but it's right down on the carbs, and it's the protein that's filling that little gap. And it's the protein that I'm using because I'm very active and I'm in the gym every single day of the week trying to build. Things I would recommend avoiding with keto are things that jump out sugar-free but are still filled and riddled with carbs. Because they're not adding sugar does not mean it's not got carbs in it. So I've seen like there's a range in some of the stores in the UK, and it's like digestive biscuits, big sugar-free written across it. But you look at it and it's still very high carbohydrates. Sugar-free doesn't always mean that it'll fit in with a keto diet. The other thing to avoid is, or not avoid as such, but be very careful with, is products that are designed specifically for keto. I've seen keto product breads that have more or less the same carbs as a slice of normal bread. I've seen keto baking kits where it does look like low carbs per cookie, but the cookies are like this big. So by the time you have a portion, you're back into knocking yourself out of ketosis. All those gimmicky foods, chocolates, things like that, I would definitely try to avoid, and just get into the habit and get your shopping in that you know what you're having. You know, never run out of eggs, never run out of your bacon. You're gonna go fine with that. So try and stick to whole foods, even if you're still dirty keto. Now, I no longer grab packs of ham and processed meats. I get fresh meats, but it's on the bone and it's skin on. So there's a moderation, there's a line, okay? Don't sit there scoffing 30 packs of pork scratchings and loads of processed meats and wonder why you're not feeling as great on this keto diet that everyone else seems to think is wonderful. My eventual goal is to transition into a clean keto diet, but I'm just trying to establish how I can get them fat levels up. And I am going to be making fat bombs throughout a few different videos on this channel, so I'll be trying them, and I know they're really good to get your macros up and get your fat levels up, but I need something that I can sustainably eat. So I don't want to make a fat bomb and I can have half a bite and it's just too sickly. It needs to be something that I can eat regular and be absolutely fine and even enjoy it if I can. So once I nail down that diet, that's when I'll start to transition into a cleaner keto. So you've been on keto a while and you've plateaued. I've seen this a few times with a few friends of mine, with myself at times. So you've gone onto a dirty keto way of eating, you're very strict with it, you're keeping your carbs right down, your weight loss was going bang, 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 and all of a sudden it's leveled out and you're getting that slight increase, decrease, increase, decrease. So it's nothing to worry about, it's nothing to panic about, it's just your body. Your body's got to a stage where it's thinking, right, I'm intaking enough, I've found a nice level to do this at, I'm maintaining. The ways to get over that hurdle, in my personal opinion, I'm not a doctor, but in my personal opinions, ways to get over that hurdle is to tweak your diets, which is drop your carbs down a bit more. If you've got a 30 gram carb allowance, drop it down to 20 for a few weeks, see if you can kickstart that loss again. A lot of people, when they hit this plateau, what it is they're not having enough fats. So their fats are at a lower level, so their body's using the fats and that's it, and it's maintaining the level. So make sure your macros are always on point, and if you get that used to eating it, make sure you're still logging it every so often, so you can check on an app like MyFitnessPal or My Net Diary. Any of these tracker apps are great, and just make sure that what you think you're eating, you're actually eating. Because I've had people who think they're on a keto diet, they've logged all the food and it's come in at like 60-70 grams of carbs. And I'm like, that's enough to knock you out of ketosis. So this is your problem. You're knocking yourself in and out constantly of that keto state. The other thing, of course, if you're plateauing at that level, is to become more active. And the same with any other diet and any other lifestyle, the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out. So if you've hit that level, if you've done the dirty keto and you've lost all this weight without having to go to a gym, without having to break a sweat, and you think, oh my God, this diet is a godsend, but you've hit that plateau, that's when you need to start thinking, I need to put the work in. Yeah, if you're like me and you don't want to get the strength losses, you need to be putting the work in from day one. And I'll always recommend heavy weights and heavy lifting over 20-30 minutes jogging, doing cardio. Cardio's great, don't get me wrong, but it's no substitute for the weights and heavy lifting when it comes to weight loss and bodybuilding. One last point on this dirty keto, what is very easy to do and what you have to be careful of is drinking your carbs, including milk in brews and coffees and stuff like that. Stick cream in your coffee instead, make sure it's double cream. Even with that, you have got a carb content, so if you're drinking 50 coffees a day, there's your issue. When we say log food, we mean log everything that goes into your body. Some people even log the water intake so they can maintain and make sure they're taking in enough water. So make sure you're logging the whole time, especially if you're new to this. And one of the things that almost happens to me a few times is neglecting the nutrients, the green side of things. It's very easy with dirty keto to throw a whole pan of mince on, cook that up with olive oil and your seasoning, and just eat that and call that a meal. But what we're forgetting there is our essentials, our greens. So make sure with every meal you're adding some sort of leafy green or something like that. One of my personal preferences is fresh spinach, especially like with a meal, cold fresh spinach on the side, lovely. I don't like cooking my spinach, I like it just straight eating the leaves. And another one is kale, just because it's cost effective, it's super easy. One of the tricks I do with kale as well, if you don't like the big long strings of it, is once I buy it, I throw it in the freezer. When you go to your freezer to cook, open your kale up, you can pull it out and it just crunches up into loads of little bits. Yeah, and you can boil that up. It takes less than a minute or two to boil that up, and you've got kale that you can add to any meal, any recipe. It's not huge strings of it, it almost integrates seamlessly. So that's just me, that's how I get started. That's the easiest way I've found to stick to the keto diet, especially when you can just grab some cheese, some meats, things like that, convenience foods, because a lot of people's issue is snacking. And if you get very specific keto snacks, it can get very expensive. So being on dirty keto gives you a bit more freedom, especially at the start, to get into that keto kick and that keto lifestyle. And after 6 months doing the dirty keto, you'll probably want to start cleaning up yourself. You'll want to start getting your oils from better places and nicer meat, grass-fed beef, all of that. If you can afford it, do it. If you can have the discipline to go straight into it, great, excellent. Always the choice is clean keto all the time. But if you're like me and you have to push yourself into these things, then dirty keto is a cracking way to get started on your keto journey and the secret to a lot of these Hollywood stars losing weight. But that video is coming soon. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I appreciate your support. If you can hit like, if you can subscribe, share the channel, give a comment, give a dislike, I don't care. Interact with me in some way. It's all fully appreciated. See y'all in the next one. Bye.